for today's webinar, A Day in the Life of a Help Desk Ninja. Today, we are going to talk about how a help desk can use Ninja to replace the tools they have, be more efficient, improve the life of the help desk tech, and make everybody more productive and satisfied and do a better job of delivering on their services. Before we get started, I do want to do some light housekeeping. The first is this webinar will be recorded and will be sent out in 5 to 7 business days. Please be on the lookout for an email from our marketing team. You'll get the recording. You'll be able to share it with whoever you want. In addition, we do like to keep these interactive. We did a session this morning. It was super interactive, lots of questions, lots of chatter in the chat. Would love to see that again tonight. The more questions you ask, the more you can get out of it and the more we can tailor it to what you're doing. We will kind of stick to our talk track, but if there's a question that comes in that's particularly relevant, we will answer it in the moment. If not, we'll have time at the end to answer questions, dive into best practices, show you different things that maybe we don't have planned today. Finally, we do have a gift card to give out tonight, a $100 gift card. We will announce that winner. Christine will come on and announce that right before Q&A. So you will have to sit through the presentation, but you won't have to sit through Q&A, but we hope you do. With that, I think we can go ahead and introduce ourselves. My name is Pete Breton. I'm the Director of Customer and Product Marketing here at Ninja, and I'm joined by our awesome Ethan Desmond, who will introduce himself.
It's a pleasure to meet everybody. As Pete said, my name is Ethan Desmond. I'm one of the lead sales engineers here at Ninja. I actually lead our corporate IT side of the house. So our role is to educate our partners and get them into the platform and teach them how their workflows that they're using now can be translated into Ninja.
Awesome. Thank you, Ethan. Ethan's going to do all the heavy lifting today. He's going to show you through the platform. We do have about 5 or 6 slides I want to go through. I promise not to drown you in those slides. We just want to make sure everyone has a full understanding of what Ninja offers and kind of how that relates to the help desk team. Because what we are going to talk about is sort of how this single pane platform approach to IT and endpoint management is going to help your help desk be more efficient and effective. And so talking through kind of what we offer and how that impacts those teams is going to be helpful from a level setting perspective. Then we're going to spend the majority of the time in the platform walking you through real life scenarios that our partners who use Ninja for their help desk have actually told us makes their life better, makes their teams more efficient, helps them provide better services to their end users. So I'm going to go ahead and dive in first with a brief overview of who Ninja is. Our product, we call it the Unified IT Operations Platform. It includes a lot of major modules, if you will. So the 8 that you see on the screen are kind of where we bucket all of our features and functionality. This is not a deep dive. This is very much an overview. And all of these categories really do touch on the help desk. Maybe the only one that doesn't possibly is patch management. Yeah, I would say probably only patch management doesn't really impact the help desk. But the rest of these are tools that a help desk would use every day. I'm going to dive into specifically the individual functionality that we think that they're going to use most. But endpoint management is going to give you visibility and control over all of your devices. Patching is going to help you reduce those vulnerabilities. Software deployment will help you roll out individually or at scale applications, uninstall applications, manage them, report on utilization, that sort of thing. Remote access is obviously the gold standard for a help desk. They're going to use it a lot. We provide one-click remote access from the platform to your devices, so you have full control over any device that's managed, so you can provide remote support. We do have an integrated backup solution. It's our proprietary solution that allows you to back up and restore servers, workstations, remote or on-premise employees. We have a built-in service desk. Whether you use our service desk or another one, you can integrate those and use all of the other modules in Ninja to kind of support your help desk and push that information out to your ticketing system. We have a fully integrated IT documentation platform that allows you to document secure credentials, processes, contextual information about your IT environment, which can be really helpful for those technicians as they go looking for a credential or how to do something or information about network layout, that sort of thing. They can go and look at your documentation to get that information and perform their duties or remediation, whatever it may be. And then IT asset management is kind of a core tool that allows you to get access to all those devices, see a lot of information, deep, important information about software and hardware, about all of the devices that you manage, and it's always going to be up to date and easy to access, which allows them to, perform their duties much quicker. So that's a really brief overview. You're going to see a lot of this in the walkthrough as we go. But I just want everyone to have a clear view of kind of the full Ninja platform. One of the reasons we're doing this particular webinar is we've had a lot of conversations lately, our sales engineering team, our account executive team, our account managers, myself, with partners who bring Ninja in for one particular reason, whether it be backup or ticketing or patching. And then what happens is they realize they can replace their current remote access tool with Ninja and save a little bit of money, right? And so what happens is the help desk gets access to Ninja to use a remote access tool, and they find themselves using more and more of Ninja over time. So they're starting off just using remote access. Then they find out they can do some script deployment. Maybe they look at ticketing and start using that, drop their old ticketing tool. They start using our stealth remediation tools, and they find out that it really becomes the core help desk tool that they use to perform remediations, complete tasks, and manage the entirety of their help desk in Ninja. And that comes as a secondary benefit to what Ninja was originally purchased for. Let's say patching in this instance. That process, though, can take 6 months to a year as people kind of learn that organically. And so our hope with this webinar is to point out some really easy, straightforward ways that your help desk can use Ninja and adopt it more fully right from the get-go, so you can get more value, right? So whatever you're bringing Ninja into your organization for, you can also hand it off to that help desk team, or bring Ninja in primarily as a help desk tool and maybe go the other way out and expand and use patching and backup and whatever for your other teams. The hope is you can get to that maturity faster, the time to value really shrink, and start using Ninja as a help desk tool really from day one. Now we talked big picture. Let's talk really hone in on what features a help desk would use in Ninja most. So the first, and again, most obvious, is that one-click remote access. You can use Ninja primarily as a remote access tool. You get in, you take control of the machine, you remediate like you have, like you're sitting at the machine, and then you go about your day. That's the most obvious entry point here. But then you also have stealth remediation tools. These are things like behind the scenes tools that allow you to make changes on the device, like a remote terminal, task manager, registry editor, file explorer, that sort of thing. The live device inventory is also super helpful here. As you go and look for devices, you can get deep information about that device before you begin remediation. So you can see the processes that are running. If there are health and performance indicators that suggest something's wrong with the machine, you can identify that before you take remote control of the device. So you start with a lot more context. That complete device data is super helpful as well. If you need to go look up a drive or what CPU the device is, or a product code, you can do that before, again, you start remediation, or mid workflow if you need it. Automatic device remediation is really important here. There are a lot of automation workflows in Ninja that allow you to identify issues, deploy a remediation activity, and then close out that issue really without touching it. So things that have standardized remediations and are easy to identify, a lot of times your help desk technicians will never have to touch again, because that identification and remediation are identified, and you can create a ticket so that there's a record that event occurred. We do have a ticketing system built in. Again, use ours, use another's. A lot of this can, a lot of what you'll see today can flow either into Ninja ticketing or into another help desk or ticketing tool. There's a lot of ticketing automation in Ninja that allows you to reduce the administrative burden of managing tickets in Ninja. And then finally, that integrated documentation we talked about, where you can store credentials securely. No need for a wiki or a spreadsheet with all of your passwords on it, which is obviously not secure. The key benefits here for help desks are going to be really sixfold. These are the ones that most commonly I hear from our partners who have adopted us as a mature help desk tool. The first is fewer tickets. Those auto remediations, that more proactive approach to IT management, will reduce your ticket volumes. In addition, faster ticket resolutions, whether that be from spending less time on the phone with a partner, with a customer, or an end user, asking them questions about their device, or simply being able to actually deploy remediation faster. That's going to actually significantly reduce ticket resolution times. As we talked about, there is an automation layer under Ninja that will help you reduce the number of manual tasks, which frees up time for you to focus on more complex or strategic or important tasks in your help desk. In addition, because we allow you to create scripts to remediate issues, you can actually have your tier 3 techs or your engineers create remediations as scripts and hand them off to your tier 1 techs to deploy, which allows them to shift a lot of that work left, right? If there's something that's a standard remediation that a tier 1 tech probably doesn't have the technical capability to do, a tier 3 tech can write that, hand it off to your lower level technicians to actually deploy over and over again without the tier 3 having to go back and do it. Second to last here is the less back and forth. Because you have so much data about your machines and context about issues that are happening, there's less interaction you have to have with the end user, which makes them more productive and more satisfied and makes sure they're not a roadblock to your technicians getting their work done. And then finally, kind of in that same line, less interruption or scheduling with those end users. A lot of times, if you need to remediate something, you have to set up a time when the end user will allow you to get on their device and remediate the issue. Because of backgrounding tools and automations, a lot of times you don't have to do that. You can remediate it without them ever being interrupted, which is fantastic. All right, that end of death by PowerPoint. We're going to jump into the scenarios here. We're going to do maybe a little bit of role playing in some of these cases. In some, Ethan's just going to walk you through them. The first one, though, is a little bit of a role play. So I'm going to continue sharing my screen here and bring up a device. So in this case, I'm an end user. And I'm going to try to install this application. I don't have the rights to do that. I'm going to call the help desk. So ring, ring, ring. Hey, help desk, I need some help.
Hey, Peter, thanks for reaching out to the help desk. How can I assist you today?
I'm trying to install an application and it says I need an admin password, which I don't have.
Understood. Okay, thanks for reaching out. So which machine are you on right now, by chance?
I don't actually know off the top of my head.
No worries. So one thing that we have and one thing that we can do here is if you go ahead and go down into the system tray of the machine that you're on, you should see a N icon. That N icon right there, if you right click and then go to about this computer, you should then be able to see the username as well as the computer name. Can you let me know what the computer name is?
Yeah, username is guest account and computer name is desktop Q88D0QG.
Excellent. Thank you. And now what I'm going to go ahead and do on my side of the house here is I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. So we'll go ahead and break this out here and share. So now that as the technician and the individual that's, working this issue and working to get Pete's application installed, what we're going to go ahead and do, since we have the name of the device and it's desktop-Q88, what I can actually do at the top here under search is I can type in desktop-Q88. It will actually autofill. And even beyond that, what we can do is we can base it off of the account name as well. So if we go guest here, Q88, guest account, and we can jump directly into that device in question. From here, what I can go ahead and do is I can go into Splashtop, initiate that connection onto the device. I'm going to go ahead and let it open. Give this a moment to load. I'm then going to go ahead and full screen it. And then from here, what I can do is I can initiate that installation for. So hit OK. Go ahead and run it. And then in this particular case, as the administrator, I have the password. So I'm going to go ahead and type it in here. Excellent. And go ahead and hit yes. And now in this particular case, I'll just run through the installer. That's all fine. I'm not going to create a shortcut on the desktop in this case, and we'll uncheck that. And now I'm able to get, hey, Peter, it looks like we were able to get Notepad++ installed on your device. You should be good to go.
Best support interaction I've had all day. A couple things I want to point out here. The first, someone did mention we did have Splashtop there. We do have Splashtop. We also have TeamViewer. We also do integrate with ConnectWise Control if that's of interest as well. So there are multiple remote access options here that you can leverage as well. No, he did not give out the admin password. He is the admin and typed in the admin password. One other thing I wanted to point out is, can you actually search for that Q88D device again?
100%. We'll go back to the dashboard here and we'll type in Q88. Here we go.
So something to point out here is that play button. If you could show that off as well.
Of course. So from here, so from the search itself, we're actually able to run actions on the device without jumping into the machine itself in the dashboard. So you can run scripts on demand from your library or from the policy, run reboots, Splashtop or TeamViewer, remote tools, maintenance, as well as add to favorites. Can you remote into safe mode using Splashtop? So as long as the machine has a network connection, you should be able to make a connection to the machine. So it needs to be reporting into the Ninja dashboard. To that point.
Awesome. It's good to see questions come in that we can answer live. I think that's the first scenario. If we want to jump over to the second one.
Of course, yeah, let's go ahead and bring it up here. So jumping into the second side of the house. So let's go ahead and jump in here. While we resolve Peter's issue with the Notepad++ installation, let's jump into all tickets. And in this particular case, let's look at ticket 1020. So Firefox is frozen. So I see, Peter, you're running into an issue. Firefox is not responding. Okay, I can see here through the ticket itself that we can jump into the machine, as well as from the ticket itself, we can run actions. But let's jump into the device. From here, we're going to have remote command line as well as PowerShell. So in this particular case, we'll go ahead and run 64-bit PowerShell on the device. We also, for administrative actions, require a password to jump in, and that's just to make sure you are who you say that you are when you're, trying to run remote command line. Moment, excellent. Okay, and now that we're on and we've made that remote connection here, I can see that Firefox has been, it's stuck. So we'll do get process. And then stop process. In this case, we'll let that run. Are you sure you want to perform this stop process operation? Yes. So we'll hit A to all.
And that closed Firefox on my computer.
Excellent. And now additionally, so when it comes to stopping processes, stopping services, everything like that, you can obviously do that through remote command line and PowerShell. But additionally, what we give you is the ability to just do that through the UI. So we give you, whether it's, remote registry modifications, task managers or service managers, as well as a live file browser, we give you that capability. So let's jump into the task here. And Peter, do you by chance have Firefox running again on the device?
I did open it back up, yes.
Excellent. So we'll jump in here, and what we can actually do is we can kill the processes directly from this UI to break it out. Give that a moment.
And it is closed again.
Excellent. So through the UI, we're able to start, stop, restart, change processes all through the remote tools, as well as we give you remote command line and PowerShell, so that way you can accomplish what you need to do as a help desk engineer without necessarily always having to do a remote access session onto the device in question.
Yeah, one of the things I'd like to add to that, and I'm just reinforcing what Ethan just said, but what we find is a significant time saving by not remoting in. There's always the option to remote in. That's always going to be something you use heavily, but where there are options to use these remote tools, they can significantly reduce the amount of time it takes you to get things done, simply because you don't have to schedule time with the end user. And that's a huge impact.
Excellent. Well, what we'll go ahead and do from here is we'll jump into 3, or we'll jump into the next scenario that we have in this case. So in this breakout here, we'll jump back into the ticketing, and we'll go ahead and look at this. So it looks like we have another ticket that's been created. External backup removed evaluation script. Looks like in this particular case, we have this device. Okay. Yeah, so it looks like we're having a drive that's getting pulled out. Okay, I'm gonna have to give Pete a call to resolve this. Ring, ring.
Hey, Ethan, how's it going?
It's good, Pete. Thanks for asking. So I see that on your device, you're running into an issue where we are seeing a drive that's no longer connected. Looks like an external USB drive.
Could it be this?
It is. Do you mind plugging that back in for me?
Sure thing.
Excellent. And now the great thing that we're going to really show off here is the ability that for a senior engineer, for example, could create a script that then as a entry-level help desk engineer, you can give them access to run on the device. So while Pete has told me, hey, I plugged it back in, we need to verify that. So what we'll do is from the play button, we'll jump into script library, and we're going to go ahead and run check for backup drive. We'll go ahead and apply it, and we're going to run it on the device in question. Go ahead and give this a moment to run. And we can see here that it's been successful. It started. Let's give that a moment to finish.
It looks like it did finish. I may not have, it may not have recognized the drive fast enough. 1 second. We may need to run it again to actually show the result.
Understood.
Oh, there we go. Nope.
No, that was the other one. But even so, the output for this, the script itself is giving us a success. So we're able to see in this particular case that it was able to register on that side.
I plugged it into a different USB drive. It's an old computer. We'll see what happens.
Okay. Let's go ahead and run that again. Actually, we'll give it an extra second. Yeah. Okay.
This did not happen on the first webinar.
We'll go ahead and let this run again. And then now we can see here partitions 1, success, and you can get a bigger breakout for device ID, model, size, and caption. Now, how we were able to accomplish this and have it automatically create a ticket just by Pete not having the USB drive plugged in, we can do that by going into configuration, policies. You can go into your policy in question. So we'll say Windows Workstation. And then from here, what you can have it do is add a condition. So any conditions from this list, you can have it monitor for. But the biggest thing here is we can have it create with default, or you can create it with a specific type of conditional ticketing automation. So you could say, hey, what do I want it to do when the ticket first gets created versus when it gets resolved versus when it gets closed or when it gets reopened, and how you want that to flow from a logic standpoint.
Awesome. There's a bunch of chatter in chat. I just want to address really quick. It's totally taking us out of our flow, but Linux remote access. TeamViewer and Splashtop, while they do support Linux outside of Ninja, our implementation does not support remote access for Linux. You'd have to use ConnectWise control. We do have an update coming in the near future to allow direct remote access of Linux, but that is not available today outside of ConnectWise control. I just want to set that standard so everyone's aware.
Of course. Excellent.
All right. Oh, so sorry. One kind of learning from this that I wanted to highlight is if you create alerts and notifications and ticket creation effectively, you can make your help desk much more proactive, right? In this case, that USB drive is attached to a backup, right? So I'm backing up to that USB drive. If that were not there, the backup would fail. That could potentially be a really bad thing in one particular use case. The point here is to create alert. Oh, you can have as many alerts as you want. You can get stuck in the alert fatigue and too many things. And what you want to do is focus on creating actionable alerts and then create tickets that are actually have a direct impact, right? So in this case, I know I can call the end user, tell them to plug it back in. That's going to avoid a failed backup. That allows me to be much more proactive. But things like, if Dropbox is failing, we can identify that, create tickets, or potentially auto remediate it. That sort of thing is what you can build into Ninja and really avoid potentially catastrophic events, because Dropbox has been down for 2 weeks. Nothing's been being backed up to the cloud. And now a file is deleted that we can't recover, right? That's what we're trying to avoid by making you more proactive with this approach.
Next. We'll go ahead and jump into the next scenario then. So let's jump into the ticketing once again, and let's go ahead and see here for, okay, looks like we have another ticket from Peter. So it looks like we have a predictive failure, and it looks like, again, man, this device Q88 is really seeing some issues. But since we have got an alert for, smart status failure, and it looks like there's an issue with the drive, let's go ahead and gather some information on that side of the house. So details, give this a moment to load as it is live. And then from here, what we can see is your processor and memory information, disk volume information, network adapter information, open ports, and so on. But in this particular case, what we're looking for is going to be underneath hardware and miscellaneous. In this particular case, we're looking for the drive information, which we're able to get right here. So just from this, we're able to get the serial number, which then we could use to do the RMA. And in the meantime, we can always get a drive out to Peter to do, in, utilizing Ninja and Ninja Backup, we could always restore data from his old, backed up drive to his new drive. That way he doesn't lose anything. He doesn't lose any time working in the day-to-day.
Can we actually hop back into the ticket really quick, Ethan?
Of course.
Thank you. One thing I think is worth pointing out is this ticket was automatically generated, right? Again, we have an alert that creates a ticket. In this case, we're looking for event 570 with disk with the source of disk. This is fake because you can see disk event, not disk. But the point is, this is an actual Windows event that would trigger in the case of a predictive failure for RAID. All of the information that's provided there is exactly what would be provided if this was a real RAID failure. And so you have context, right? Like the device didn't just shut off there, and someone's calling you and saying the server's not working. You have this event that was identified. It was transmitted to you automatically with all of the context of this is a predictive RAID failure. Which drive it is, I think, is actually included there. Maybe not. It potentially should be. So that you can go and look at that device. You have an idea of what's going on and you can remediate faster. You know that there's a drive issue or a disk issue that you need to resolve, which is way more than you would get if the device just went offline or stopped working, right? You'd have to go on site, get to the server, look into it, figure out what's going on, and then start remediation. I'm sorry, you can hear my child screaming. So all of that context, when we create alerts, we're going to give you a lot of context to make remediation faster. And I think that's a really important thing to point out.
Excellent. One thing additionally that I would add to kind of circle around that and kind of to break out how you can do exactly what we're doing in this case is underneath configuration policies. In the Windows workstation side of the house, jumping back into the conditionals, we have the ability right here to do Windows Smart Status Degraded with pred fail as well, right out of the box. That way you can get notifications for that. And then you can tie that together as we just broke out with that ticketing rule. So in this specific use case, this is how you would build that out. Okay. So on that side of the house, now that we have all the RMA information, the way that would work is we get the drive sent out. We'll get Pete a new drive. We'll get the backup. We'll do the restore, and we'll get him going. That way he can do what he needs to do. Jumping into the next scenario on that side of the house, when it comes to, doing file restoration, having your end users create tickets, having your end users have an end user sharing portal that they can log into to submit tickets if they'd like. That's something that speaking with our partners is very important to them, depending on what your workflow is now. Some people say, well, our end users just use Outlook, Gmail, et cetera, to submit tickets, which is great. I mean, it works perfectly with Ninja Ticketing. We have the system tray icon like we showed off at the beginning of the call, as well as now I'd like to show off what the end user sharing portal looks like. And Pete, do you by chance have that up on your end?
I do. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen here. In this case, I've logged in as Steven end user. This is my end user account. This encompasses two pieces, our device end user portal and our ticketing end user portal. The device end user portal is an admin can give me remote access to an individual device. You can see here it's that 6UD device. From here, I can actually take control of the device, like remote access into it directly from here. I can also have terminal access. These are all you can turn them on and off if you don't want them to have terminal access. I can also restore a file from here, which is nice. So I can go into file and folder here, and I can go ahead and download that onto my computer. That completely avoids me having to go to Ethan and ask for a file restore. But let's say I don't have access to that, or I'm unable to figure that out because I'm an end user. I can actually go over here to ticketing and create a new ticket. I can see all my tickets here, but in this case, I want to submit a ticket and restore a file. So I go up here to the form. There are multiple forms for different activities. For example, if I'm hiring someone, I could fill out a form to onboard a new employee. You can see we have, name and title and department and, what hardware they require, et cetera. In this case, it's a file restore. So I'm going to say it's a minor issue. The file name is the video folder. And the file path I actually closed earlier, but would be C Windows users videos, and it's from yesterday, and I want it restored to the existing location. which I don't have to fill that out because it's existing location. So I want to say, please restore video folder. And because I'm an end user, that's all the context I would give you via email. But because we're using the end user portal, we're actually forcing them to give us this other critical information that we may need. I'm going to go ahead and submit that. And we should be able to go over to Ethan and see that on the technician side.
Excellent. So jumping back into the technician side of the house and viewing what we see as far as on the all ticket side, I can see Stephen here. Stephen end user has submitted a ticket for please restore video folder. Okay, Ninja Labs, Stephen end user. Okay. And now in this particular case, we have the file path, version date, restore to existing location. Okay, so we know we have to do that. And then from here, what we can do is jump into it. Now in this particular case, I know which machine that, Stephen has been assigned. So I'm going to go ahead and do that restoration. So we'll go ahead and jump into the dashboard in this case, and then we'll go ahead and jump into Q88. Jump into this machine. Going to go ahead and do manage backups, file and folder. I then go into C, users, home lab, and then we're going to go ahead and do videos. Restore or download, so you can download it locally if you need to, but the restoration date. So in this particular case, we do 6/7. If the file exists, how you want that to be handled. And then in this particular case, we're restoring it to the same device. But as we discussed earlier, in this case, his original drive got hosed and we're doing a restoration. So we'll go C, users, home lab, and then videos. And then I can do the restore, close and continue, or cancel job. So in this particular case, I'll go ahead and cancel that job. And then one question that I did see in the chat was, what about from a reporting standpoint? What about, how can I know that Ethan did this restore in the first place? So we can back out here, go to activities all. And from here you can see, so I canceled the restore job plan for file and folder. I requested it. So you can see here what I as Ethan have done on the device for the restoration. So if, you said, hey, Ethan, did you restore this file? Yes. You could then go into the activities and go, hey, so it looks like you may have started it, but it looks like you canceled it on that side of the house. So you have that window into what your technicians are doing. And beyond that,
go ahead, Ethan.
I was just going to say this actually scales. So you can see it all the way from the activities at the highest dashboard level. And then you can always add additional filters such as specific organizations, devices, individual technician accounts, types of alert activities, filtered activities. So you can, just like with types, but just more granular. And then you can do a date range. So it's going to give you the last 3 months worth of activity information that we show within the UI. If you ever need to go past that, you can always reach out to our support team. I believe it's about the last year's worth of information. We can always get you on that side of the house.
Yeah, and I would say this activity feed is really, really impactful. It can be used for auditing and compliance purposes. It can be used to prove to an end user you did what you were supposed to. We also see it really used heavily as a management tool. New technician comes on, you want to make sure that they're using the tool effectively, that they're doing what you would expect them to do. You can take this information, export it, and look at all of everything Ethan's done. And if he's been doing his job, give him a pat on the back. If not, give him some training. We see it used effectively on both sides. And it's not just activities that Ninja performed on an endpoint. If, for example, hardware's changed or anything like that, that Ninja didn't do, but we detect, you'll also see that here, which is really nice.
Additionally, and this is one thing that with speaking with partners that they really like to look at and see, you can see end users logging in to the machines. So you can get a full timeline on that.
One other end user activity we did want to show, I'm going to just pull up Splashtop again really quick and show the systray icon in a different view here, if you don't mind. If I go down to the systray icon as the end user right here, I can request help. Here we go, submit a ticket. This will also tie into Ninja ticketing. So I can say, Ethan, please help me. Can't install app, take my picture here or attach a file, whatever it may be, and then give my info. It's a little tedious to do this live on a webinar, but I'll do it. That's my personal email. Whoops. And I'll go ahead and submit that. as an end user, if I don't want to use that end user portal, I can go ahead and do it right here from that systray icon, which is a pretty nice end user tool as well.
And the great thing additionally about what that system tray icon does when that ticket gets created is we can see here that the source was that system tray help request. So you can track that type problem. You can see who the requester is as well as what the organization was. But even beyond that, we can see here that it's automatically associated everything. The organization, location of the device, it's using his email address. So that way it's creating a contact, or it can create a contact, as well as here, because it's, being sent from that machine, it's going to automatically associate with that. Now, in the case where, let's say, Peter's creating a ticket for me and my machine isn't working, etc., you could always jump in and click edit and change which device the ticket is associated with. That way you can keep the accuracy on that side of the house. And then here, so we can see peterbrennan@gmail.com, and you can see all the information that's automatically included here, as well as environment variables. So really, circling into this, if we go into configuration on the left-hand side, branding, system tray icon, this is going to be where we can control and configure that item. So first, last, email, phone, subject, and problem are going to be what your end user can fill out. And then all of this information is what we include out of the gate. So all of these items right here are all Ninja specific parameters, or environment variables, I should say. But this right here, these are going to be your Windows environment variables. So if it's a Windows environment variable and you want to throw it in here, we can have it automatically include it within that system tray help request form ticket.
Awesome. I think we have one final scenario we want to jump into, and then we will have plenty of time left for questions.
Mm-hmm. So one of the things that does come up in time to time, speaking with partners, especially when it comes to Helpdesk and kind of getting a good lay of the land for your environment and where your devices are at, is occasionally, hey, I need to do a OS product key audit. I need to see what devices are running what keys. I need to make sure people aren't using duplicate keys, the whole 9 yards. And so what we can do from there is, if we go into the reporting side of the house, we can create a new report. But additionally, we already have one generated here. So this is going to be the regular report, breaking this out: report type, name, organization, who it's being sent to. So in this particular case, it's going to be sent to my Ninja Technician email address. But if you wanted to free write an email address here, you can as well. Scope of the report, language that the report is in, recurrence, daily, weekly, monthly, or never, recurs every X number of days, send at X time, start date and end date, as well as the content that's included here. So let's go ahead and back out then, and we'll jump into this product key report. So this is actually going to be across the board. It's going to be the whole regular report, just to show that off. So you can see your Windows workstations, virtual machines, your operating system breakout for the specific organization. So in this particular case, it's Ninja Lab. You can see the number of scripts that have been ran on your devices within the time frame of the report, alerts, conditional alerts that have fired off, top 50 devices with alerts. You can get an idea of disk encryption enablement, so you can see where your machines are at on that side of the house, as well as we even have conditional alerts that can alert you in case, let's say, BitLocker or File Vault is disabled for your Windows and Mac devices. AV, it's going to give you a breakout there as far as how many devices do you have that are protected versus unknown, and what's the makeup of that look like. And beyond that, what's the definition status, last check-in state, and the name of it. Here, so this is going to be the product key. So this is where we will show your device name as well as the full product key. Additionally here though, if you are running OEM keys, we will show the last 5 of the OEM key. We will not show the whole key itself. And then just to kind of finish up here, critical event logs, task history, as well as software added and removed. So you can get an idea of what's being installed in your devices on a month-to-month basis.
And since that is a personal device, installing games on it is allowed.
And to that point, at the device level, and we'll go ahead and bring up the 8LB in this case, software inventory, we also have the ability to see all the applications that are installed on a machine in question on the fly. You can see this at an organizational level as well as at the highest dashboard level as well.
Awesome. What I would like to do is give out our gift card and then answer questions, because I do see a bunch of them. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen for just a second. We'll switch back to Ethan to show you things live in the platform as you ask questions. But Christine, if you could come on and announce our winner, that would be awesome.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Pete. Hope we're all enjoying the webinar so far. I'm here to announce the gift card winner. So if we can all pop in the chat and say a huge congratulations to, drum roll please, Matt Rocha. Congratulations, Matt. Be on the lookout for an email from me and we'll get that out to you. Back to you, Pete.
Thanks so much, Christine. All right, I'm going to go ahead and just bring this up as a placeholder. We've got lots of questions. I'm going to start in Q&A. I do know there was a question in chat I promised I would answer. Lots of congratulations. So the first one that I see here is that I know we promised was, can you kind of give a quick overview of like how to show the full inventory of assets? I'm going to go ahead and stop and let you drive there, Ethan.
Yeah, so on that side of the house, let's go ahead and jump into the software inventory here at the highest dashboard level. So if you're looking at when we're talking about asset management, if you're talking about software on that side, this is going to be the full breakout, as well as on the right-hand side here, you can see the applications and the number of devices that they are installed on. So in this case, Adobe Acrobat Reader DC. We can jump in here and we can see the specific machine in question. So this would be from a software inventory standpoint. And then if we're looking at, again, the full device, we can see your performance information, general device information, as well as activity feed info. You're going to have detailed device information, processor, memory, disk volume, hardware and miscellaneous, registered AV, where your devices are at, event log for critical events. You're gonna have a settings, which will let you, change the device name locally through Ninja. So what you want the Ninja friendly display name to be when you're running credentials on the device, what you want that to do, and so on. So what we allow you to do, if we go to configuration, organizations, and we'll say jump into Ninja Lab here, is we allow you to run actions on your machines at a higher level. So look, by default, we run everything as system, but you could always say, hey, I want to run actions with a specific set of credentials.
Yeah, I think from a big picture perspective, I know, we have a different approach to kind of that inventory than some other tools do. To really look at a high level at all of the hardware and software and devices kind of most easily, I think that would probably be done through an asset report. This is really meant for hands-on triage. And so if you want to see the devices in aggregate, you're going to want to see their reporting.
And so breaking this out here, asset summary report for Ninja Lab, you can see the device spread, devices by operating system, Windows, Mac, and Linux device details, NMS device spread. So we do offer you the ability to monitor your network infrastructure equipment, firewalls, switches, wireless access points, and so on. You can get a view for device spread by processor, device spread by video card, and we even let you, through the Ninja dashboard, create dynamic groups around specific filters on that side of the house.
Yeah, I apologize. This is an anemic environment, but the data would show up if there was more data there. There's another question that I want to answer. It's kind of a broader question, and it's about ticketing. I'm going to take over here really quick. People asked a lot about like customization around ticketing. This is where you go to configure ticketing in Ninja. So you have a lot of like high level options here. Actions you want to take, who gets responses. So the end user or the requester does get a response. You actually can decide who and when in this screen here. We also do have the ability to create multiple ingestion emails, and you can forward from your existing email to these. So if you have like a VIP request, you can have one particular email here that if I go ahead and edit, it tags things or forwards things or set severity, etc., so that you can get them to the right boards and the right views and triage them correctly. So unlimited number of emails for ingestion. You can obviously give end users that access. You can also create as many boards as you want. So for example, you can have tier 1, 2, and 3 ticket boards that are automatically, if a ticket comes in and it has, it's attached to a server, you can have it go to that tier 3 board, or if it's backup related, it can go to a backup board or whatever it may be. So you can have unlimited number of boards and ingestions, and the automations work together to assign the right tickets to the right boards. People asked about those end user fields. You can create as many fields as you want, and they're of all different types here. So drop down, multi-select, integer, date, whatever it may be. Those then combine into forms, and you can create as many of these as you want. Here we have file restore and new employee onboarding. Those are the ones that are exposed to the end user. Password reset also could be as well. So in this case, looks like the only field assigned is password reset. But if I wanted that to be visible to the end user, I could set that here, or I could go and create a new form with whatever fields I want assigned to it. So fully customizable there as well. And then from an automation perspective, you have an unlimited number of automations that you can make, and they're fully customizable. So you can create them based on events, like a ticket created, deleted, shifted, whatever it may be. Time-based, so a ticket hasn't been responded to in 5 hours. You can create response templates, so one-click replies to end users, as well as based on conditions. Those are those automatically created tickets, and based on a script result. So one really good example here is this urgent one. If I go ahead and edit this, we're going to actually parse any email that comes in or any ticket that comes in. And when it's created, if the subject contains urgent and we're outside of business hours, we're actually going to move it to a particular board by using this ticket. And we're going to reply to them and say, like, yeah, we'll get on it. Sorry, this is actually sending a notification to the work group that is working after hours to say, you need to triage this ticket. Comparing that to another one here, this automation actually will go to the person who requested it. If the technician's been waiting for 24 hours, we're going to add this tag to it. And we're also going to send an email to the requester saying, hey, we're waiting for a response from you. Please respond so we can fix your ticket, right? So there's a ton of examples here. We have an ticketing automation webinar you can go watch that goes through setting all these up, so you can see some of the examples here. But I just wanted to give that fuller view of kind of what goes into setting up ticketing. There's a ton of customization there. All right, let's dive back into Q&A. What's the price? I see a bunch of questions here about price. I'm going to go ahead and answer that live by telling you we aren't going to talk about price on a webinar. Reach out to your AE, your account manager. We essentially do a per endpoint price. There are different pricing models for different modules that you want here. So if you want remote access, that might be an additional price. If you want backup, that would be an additional price. But we have to know more about what features you want and how many endpoints you have to really give effective pricing. So that's a conversation with our sales team or your account manager if you're an existing partner. All right. I saw questions about working with PSAs. Ethan, do you have, can you talk about PSAs a little bit?
Yeah, so on that side of the house, with that, so integrations, we'll jump into PSA here. So we integrate with Acello, Autotask, ConnectWise, and Repair Shopper. Additionally, on that, let me go ahead and share my screen.
Yeah, we might have a different environment.
So Acello, Autotask, ConnectWise, and Repair Shopper are going to be the 4 that we integrate with directly through the UI. We also we have other integrations, and you can see them underneath the Ninja RM or Ninja One integrations page within there. But additionally to that point, we also offer an open API, so you can go ahead and utilize that to pull additional information through and populate, your other systems that you're utilizing on that. But jumping back into PSA, so Acello, the big thing here is that you're going to need to already have an Acello account. Same thing with Autotask, ConnectWise, and Repair Shopper. But from a ticketing standpoint and having those, these conditionals, create tickets, and everything along those lines, let's jump into, say, principal or services down. So if we had, say, ConnectWise, Autotask, et cetera, set up as a PSA, you would have that option to say, hey, if this condition fires off, have it automatically create a ticket within my PSA system, as well as you can set up your mappings for configurations and product and agreement types.
I think it's also worth pointing out notification channels here. So something that you can do now in Ninja, this is relatively new, is you can actually push notifications out to things like webhooks, so Microsoft Teams, or to Slack, so that you can actually have those context-rich alerts pushed to the tools that they're using. My favorite one is Slack. It'll actually push a notification to Slack with a link so that you can actually click on it and get directly to the device. That can be really helpful and a nice efficiency improvement. One other thing worth noting out is most ticketing tools have a way to ingest by email. We can push any alert or condition out to any PSA or any ticketing tool via email. So all we do is, when an alert triggers, we send an email to your ingestion email in your ticketing tool, and it will give you all of that context as well as a link to the device, so that while it's not going to be as robust as Ninja Ticketing from an integration perspective, you're going to get all of that detail and a link to the device so you can begin triage, which is really helpful. So Teams can be done. It's via webhooks. It's not a fully fleshed out integration, but you can do it via webhooks. It actually is pretty robust. It looks very similar to the Slack integration, but you have to do it via webhooks. We have documentation on that in our dojo that can walk you through how to do that.
Which, to that point, you can get into the dojo by going into your Ninja dashboard, top right-hand corner, !dojo/community, and that will take you directly into the dojo, where then you can go into the community or documentation. News is going to be our engineering news, and then you can see all the new features coming down the line. But underneath documentation is going to be where you can review, how to set up notification channels for what you're trying to do.
Awesome. I've got an odd question here from Scott, but I am going to answer it. He asked, what's our largest partner tenant that we have, number of endpoints? We currently manage between 3 and 3.5 million endpoints globally. I think our biggest partner is in like the 18 to 22,000 endpoint range. They're a large MSP. And I think that's as much as I can say about them because they're a partner of ours. But yeah, we have single partners who are managing tens of thousands of endpoints in a single div. We got lots of other questions here in chat. There's also a lot of good information in there, people using notification channels and that sort of thing. Let's see, what else do we have here?
One question that I do see here, since we just talked about it, in regards to notification channels, because it is a feature that is relatively new on that side of the house, what you can do is reach out to your account manager and they can set up a call to where we can go over notification channels and get it enabled on that side of the house.
Yes. How comfortable are you with Ninja Ticketing right now, Lior? Sorry, Ethan. We've got a question from Lior about merging tickets and creating problem tickets. I'd love to show off.
Definitely. Yeah. So let's explore that. So jumping in here, let's just use this example here with help request from Ninja Lab. So let's go over what it looks like from a technician's perspective in the workflow. So with your statuses, when the ticket first comes in, how, when you respond, set it to waiting, it'll flip to open once the tech end user responds on that. You can set the type, problem, question, incident, and task. And so to your point, hey, if I have let's say 6 or 7 issues come in one ticket, how can I break that out? We give you the ability to split, but we also give you to say, hey, maybe this ticket right here is an incident of another issue. So we can assign that to, you have the incident and you have the parent to that. And then additionally, we give you the ability in the top right-hand corner here to split, merge, and delete the ticket. So again, you have 6 different issues in the same ticket, as I'm sure it never happens. Then you can go ahead and just split it out as many times as you'd like. So you'd split it, and then you can split it again and so on as you need to for the different issues that you're breaking out.
Yeah, can you actually show making this an issue of a problem? I may have gotten that backwards. And so we can show what that looks like in the interface.
Yeah, so less of a split and we'll do like an incident.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
and then show it on the other ticket so we can.
Yeah, let's do 10, 11. Okay, so now if we back out to all tickets, 10, 11. This is where we can go ahead and see.
It's up at the top where it says incidents.
There we go. And then from here, you can see the incidents associated with the parent ticket. And then you can jump directly into it.
Yeah, and if you respond to that problem, you can then cascade it down to all sub incidents when you go to public. Yeah, right there. Shane asks, do you plan on adding the ticketing system to the mobile app? The good news is, yes, the script's already been, or the code has already been deployed. We've been waiting on Apple for literally months to approve it. It was recently approved, but we haven't actually rolled it out yet. So you'll see it in the ticketing in the mobile app very, very soon. So for those of you who don't use Ninja yet, we do have a mobile app for Android and iOS. That allows you to do all of your endpoint management, script deployment, endpoint monitoring, etc., right in your mobile app. We are adding ticketing to it in the very, very near future. Android will get it at the same time as iOS. Again, the code has been released, but we haven't made it available to customers because we've been waiting on Apple for approval. So it still may be a couple of weeks until we can actually roll it out, but it has been approved. So we're just waiting on final touches. To that point, I did see a question earlier about mobile device management. I want to lay out kind of what we can monitor and manage. So we can monitor and manage Windows, Mac, and Linux servers and workstations and laptops, Hyper-V and VMware hosts and guests, as well as networking devices. So really anything that can be accessed via SNMP. And then we can do ping port DNS monitoring on cloud-facing internet accessing infrastructure as well. So as of today, we cannot monitor and manage iOS, Android, and iPadOS devices, but otherwise it is a full single pane of glass. And I think we're pretty much at time. We hope this was helpful for you guys. For those who are asking, we do have a roadmap on our website. It's ninja1.com/roadmap. You can check that out. If there are any questions we didn't get to, you can reach out to us, your account executive or your account manager, or you can set up time with a sales engineer, get a trial, set up time with a sales engineer. They can walk you through one by one and show you anything customized to your use cases to actually get set up and try it out. The trial can be anywhere from 15 to 30 days. No pressure. You'll have to talk to a salesperson. They'll set you up with it, and we'll be good to go. So thank you all for joining us, and thank you, Ethan, for walking through this for everyone.
Of course, it was a pleasure. Have a great night, guys, or a good day.